His team's been saying it for quite some time. And what was the word I used in the press conference? Experience. Experience.
Exactly.
And you.
From all the corners of the world, we've seen interesting reactions to the Tank win against Frank. But the most interesting takes have come from within the sport itself, with different pros having even more interesting takes.
If he come up to 147, then we can fight.
He can't meet you at 140?
145 maybe.
So this is big news. You're willing to do a catchweight fight with Tank at 140?
Some say that Tank is the face of boxing, while others think he still has a lot to do to earn that title. First on the list was a person we knew wouldn't miss the show. Yes, Ryan Garcia is on a mission for redemption, and he made that crystal clear at the Davis versus Martin fight. Not one to shy away from making a statement, Garcia showed up in style, wearing a bold t-shirt that caught everyone's eye. On the front, it proudly declared, Tank's #1 fan. But the real message was on the back. Rematch me, bitch. And we knew who it was directed to. It was more than just a fashion choice. It was a loud and clear call out to Gervonta Tank Davis, the man who handed Garcia his first career loss in 2023. That fight was a turning point for Garcia. In a highly anticipated match, Davis delivered a knockout punch in the 7th round that, though seemingly ordinary at first, left Garcia unable to rise before the 10 count. It was a humbling defeat and one that Garcia has been eager to avenge ever since. Davis's record improved to 29-0 after that fight, adding another highlight to his undefeated career. Now, Ryan Garcia did seem to have a conversation with Tank right after the win, and when Tank was asked what Ryan was saying, he said that Ryan admitted that Tank was the best fighter in their division. Fast forward to the Davis versus Martin bout, and Davis proved once again why he is a force to be reckoned with. He knocked out Frank the Ghost Martin in the 8th round with a devastating left hand, extending his perfect record to 30-0. This victory marked Davis's return to the ring after some time away, and it didn't disappoint. However, while Davis's future plans remain uncertain, Garcia's intentions are crystal clear. He wants a rematch, and he's not shy about it. The tension between the two fighters adds an electrifying layer to the boxing world, with all of us eagerly awaiting what's next.
The conversation about with your #1 fan in the ring after the fight.
Oh, Ryan? He's crazy. I don't know. He's crazy. Talk about rematch. He said I was the best at 135 to 4.
Garcia also went on his Twitter to praise Davis further, even reminding us of his prediction on Tank taking the win in the 8th round. Then there was Jermell Charlo. Now currently, the whole boxing world is filled with discussions about who holds the mantle of being the face of boxing. This title, often a hotbed for debate, has been synonymous with the sport's most influential and commercially successful athletes. It's just recently that Jermell Charlo added his voice to this conversation.
It was amazing.
Why do you think he was so successful with setting that punch up?
I'm not gonna fight him, my nigga. I flick you though.
Singling out Gervonta Tank Davis as the prime mover of the current era of boxing. In a recent interview on Showtime Sports, Charlo heaped praise on Davis, calling him the face of boxing. This is a significant endorsement from Charlo, whose own career is distinguished and who understands the nuances and demands of the sport at the highest levels. Charlo's comments carry weight, especially considering the historical context he provided. He even acknowledged the legends Muhammad Ali and Floyd Mayweather as past and current GOAT, but he firmly placed Davis at the forefront of the modern era. America's got the best fighters in the world in the last few years, Charlo said. Our GOAT was Ali. Out now, GOAT is Mayweather. How do you beat them? Our era's different. I think truly right now, though, the face of boxing gotta be probably Gervonta Davis to me. Right now, if you think about who really conquered the new world, selling out every fight, he performed well. Everybody wants to stay focused on the negativity, but he's grinding his ass off. Charlo himself has faced his own setbacks. After stopping Brian Castano in a thrilling 10th round finish last May, he has been sidelined due to a broken hand. Nevertheless, Charlo is expected to return to the ring later this year to defend his titles against top contender Tim Tszyu of Australia. Whatever the journey is with Charlo, he seems to believe that Tank is one of a kind, literally the current face of boxing, and we can even agree with him to an extent. Right after the fight, Charlo commented saying it was a great fight, and about that face of boxing, even Mayweather himself had admitted that Davis would be the future of boxing, and we saw his words coming to life just a few hours ago.
He has a hit list, and he's gonna get every one of these guys who y'all say are the top guys. Trust me. Shakur's gonna get that work. He asking for it, he gonna get that work. But it ain't what he think it is.
But the line of reactions did not end with Charlo. Shakur Stevenson has never been one to shy away from expressing his opinions, especially when it comes to his contemporaries in the boxing world. Ahead of the much-anticipated bout between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, Stevenson was vocal about his skepticism towards Davis's choice of opponent. He accused Davis of cherry-picking, implying that Martin was selected because he was a sure win for Davis. This critique from Stevenson was rooted in his belief that Davis was avoiding more challenging opponents in favor of easier victories.
Say, man, look, man, your beef is not with Floyd Mayweather. You sitting here beefing with Floyd. It's a fighter out here that's been calling your name that want to fight you. Gervonta.
Stevenson's critical stance came from his assessment of Martin's background and experience. He had initially pointed out that Martin began boxing relatively late at age 15, which in Stevenson's eyes put him at a significant disadvantage. According to Stevenson, fighters like himself and Davis, who have been immersed in the sport from a younger age, possess a level of skill and experience that is hard to match for late starters. He predicted that Davis would annihilate Martin, a forecast based on Martin's need to catch up in terms of skill and experience. In the lead up to the fight, Stevenson maintained that Martin's only path to victory would be through a knockout. However, he saw this outcome as highly unlikely given Davis's expertise and track record. And true to Stevenson's predictions, the fight concluded with Davis securing a knockout victory over Martin. This outcome seemed to validate Stevenson's critique, underscoring his earlier comments about the disparity in experience and skill between Davis and Martin. Following the fight, Stevenson took to Twitter to share his thoughts. He tweeted, "Can't wait to shock the world. Remember everything you are all saying now. Hashtag chasing greatness." This tweet is loaded with meaning and offers insight into Stevenson's mindset and future aspirations. The phrase, "shock the world," suggests a strong confidence in his abilities and a readiness to defy expectations. It shows that Stevenson is preparing for a significant moment in his career, one that he believes will surprise many in the boxing community.
I told Frank that I was running at 7 o'clock in the morning, Friday. He told Frank that. He was giving Frank tips and stuff like that. But I knew for sure that wasn't going to be enough to beat me. It's cool. It's all right. I don't really think too much of it.
Then Floyd came into the picture. Floyd Mayweather couldn't resist throwing some shade at Gervonta Davis, even after Tank secured a dominant victory over Frank Martin. In a now familiar pattern, Mayweather offered a backhanded compliment, acknowledging Davis's talent while simultaneously criticizing him. "Tank showed why he's a special talent tonight," Mayweather admitted, seemingly forced to recognize Davis's impressive knockout. But instead of celebrating Davis's achievement, Mayweather quickly pivoted to what many saw as his main point of contention: Davis's focus. "That knockout was vicious," Mayweather continued, "but let's not forget, staying focused is key." This seemingly innocuous advice takes on a different meaning when considering the recent tension between the two, even with their shared experiences.
Set you off that you was like, I gotta do that.
A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like, oh, like
he was going at me. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at him.
In the weeks leading up to the fight, Mayweather had taken several public jabs at Davis. He questioned Davis's training regimen, implying a lack of dedication. Mayweather even went so far as to post misleading information on social media, suggesting that the Davis-Martin fight had been canceled. This act of provocation fueled the already simmering feud, and many saw it as an attempt to undermine Davis's confidence and focus.
Is this the future of boxing? Abso-fucking-lutely.
I remember many years ago, we spoke, and you spoke to our production group. I'm going to be the face of boxing. Are you now?
I'm definitely face of boxing.
Mayweather's post-fight comments about focus seem to be an extension of this strategy. He implies that Davis's talk of fighting bigger stars like Canelo Alvarez is a distraction, a sign of not being fully committed to the lightweight division. All this talk about Canelo and moving up in weight can wait, Mayweather stated. This advice, while seemingly sound on the surface, rings hollow coming from someone who spent much of his own career strategically maneuvering for the most lucrative fights, often against smaller opponents. Mayweather's comments suggest that he might be threatened by Davis's potential, which is something even Davis said himself. And speaking of which, Davis even admitted that Mayweather was giving Frank tips on how to take him down. Davis, with his power and explosiveness, possesses a style that some boxing analysts believe could challenge Mayweather's legacy. By downplaying Davis's recent win and criticizing his focus on future opponents, Mayweather might be trying to diminish Davis's achievements and deflect attention away from a potential future matchup. It's important to consider Mayweather's history with fighters he once trained or promoted. There's a pattern of offering backhanded praise, complimenting their skills while subtly criticizing their work ethic or decision-making. Whether it's a genuine coaching method, a veiled attempt to maintain control over fighters' careers, or simply a way to keep himself relevant in the boxing world is a matter of interpretation. One thing is clear, Floyd Mayweather couldn't let Gervonta Davis have his moment of victory entirely unchallenged. Even in the face of a dominant performance, Mayweather managed to inject his own narrative into the mix, keeping the spotlight on himself and the ongoing drama between him and his former protege. But while we wait to see where the story of Davis and Mayweather leads us, let's look at what Teofimo Lopez had to say after the fight.
If Martin goes and presses Tank Davis without showing him any respect, then we should see a different type of outing. However, if he comes in there just respecting the power and the hype behind Gervonta Davis, then I believe that'll be an early night for Frank Martin.
Now, while Lopez did predict a Davis victory, he used the opportunity to not only offer qualified praise, but also reignite his own rivalry with Tank. Prior to the fight, Lopez provided some insightful commentary, highlighting the mental aspect of facing a big stage opponent like Davis. Frank Martin has never been at this high degree, or this pedigree, or a magnitude of a fight like this, Lopez stated. He acknowledged the pressure Martin would face, referencing the importance of composure in such a high-profile setting. He's gonna have tens of thousands of people in attendance. He's gonna have millions watching at home. A lot of pressure on him, Lopez said. This wasn't just a casual observation. It hinted at a potential path to victory for Martin.
I think it's more so, it's my power and it's also my accuracy too. Yeah, I think that's what make it just, make my power just, super good.
Lopez, known for his aggressive style, believed that applying relentless pressure could expose weaknesses in Davis if he wasn't prepared mentally. Frank Martin could show a lot of holes in the Tank style, Lopez noted. However, Lopez had already acknowledged the risk involved in such a strategy. He had even cautioned that Martin needed the mental strength to pull it off, suggesting that a patient approach might be wiser. Following Davis's dominant knockout victory, Lopez took a more critical stance. He offered a begrudging nod to Davis's performance, saying, "Respect to Tank for the win."
Congratulations for you, Ronaldo. Always a pleasure. This is your fight, sir. Always a pleasure, man. Thank you.
However, the compliment was quickly followed by a jab. But let's be honest, it wasn't the toughest test, Lopez declared. Now, we do all sort of agree with Lopez to a point here. Martin was not that big of an opponent to challenge Davis. Even though Davis walked away with some bruises, it was because he was taking his time to analyze his opponent, something he always does. And when he figured Frank out, that's when we saw it was a walk in the park for him. And while Lopez gives us a good view there, Manny Pacquiao had a rather more interesting take. Manny Pacquiao has always been known for his grace both inside and outside the ring.
147, then we can fight.
He can't meet you at 140?
145 maybe.
So this is big news. You're willing to do a catchweight fight with Tank at 145.
His response to the recent showdown between Gervonta Tank Davis and Frank Martin was no exception. With his characteristic calmness, Pacquiao extended his congratulations to Davis, saying, "Congratulations to Gervonta Tank Davis on a dominant win. He's a great fighter in the lightweight division. We saw it coming. We saw the Davis win coming. It was a great fight." This statement is a reflection of Pacquiao's keen eye for talent and his ability to anticipate the outcomes of high-stakes matches. Pacquiao's commendation of Davis's performance is consistent with his history of recognizing and nurturing young talent. His reputation for sportsmanship is well documented, as is his penchant for encouraging fighters who bring excitement and skill to the sport. In Davis, Pacquiao sees a bright future for boxing, a future he has actively supported. The bond between Manny Pacquiao and Gervonta Tank Davis extends beyond mere admiration. Pacquiao has been a steadfast presence in Davis's corner, often seen providing motivation and guidance before pivotal bouts. This mentorship underscores Pacquiao's belief in Davis's abilities and his potential to rise through the ranks of boxing greatness. Moreover, Pacquiao's willingness to challenge Davis in the ring should he ascend to welterweight is a testament to his competitive spirit and respect for Tank. It's an open invitation from one champion to another, a call to test skills and heart against one of the sport's living legends. For Pacquiao, such a match would not only be about victory, but also about the exchange of legacy and experience. Pacquiao's influence in the boxing world cannot be overstated. Throughout his career, he has faced numerous opponents and has always been gracious in both victory and defeat. His interactions with fighters like Davis demonstrate a deep respect for the sport and those who compete in it. By publicly acknowledging Davis's talents and successes, Pacquiao helps to elevate the sport, showing that it is built on mutual respect and admiration between athletes. The admiration is mutual. Davis has also often spoken about how much he respects Pacquiao, not just as a fighter, but as a person. The most interesting aspect between Davis and Manny is the possible fight between them. Perhaps the most interesting part of it is how Davis now mentions names like Canelo and Manny as a future. Well, speaking of Canelo, he too got into the line of comments. Gervonta Davis's thunderous knockout of Frank Martin sure left us all impressed, and Canelo Alvarez, a longtime admirer of Tank, was no exception.
To get the pay-per-view? Yes, because I've been around Adrian when he was just starting, when he was really like the problem. So just seeing him and then fighting somebody like Pacquiao, it give me hope for sure.
How soon you think that'll happen for you?
I'm aiming for 2021.
What a performance by Tank, Canelo said. That knockout was something special. I always knew he had that power, but to see him put it all together like that was impressive. Canelo has been vocal about his appreciation for Davis's talent. Despite not being an avid boxing viewer himself, Canelo has singled out Davis on multiple occasions, praising his youth and raw ability. This recent win only strengthens Canelo's opinion.
It's big, you know. Canelo is one of the top dogs in the sport as of right now, and he's a great fighter himself. So
he's got that special something, Canelo continued. He's exciting to watch, and he's clearly working hard to perfect his skills. This win over Martin is a big step in the right direction for him. However, when pressed about a potential fight between the two, Canelo's response became a bit more measured. Look, I've never shied away from a challenge, Canelo admitted, but right now, my focus is on getting healthy and coming back even stronger after my own recent setback with Bivol. That being said, Tank is definitely a fighter who intrigues me. He's got a different style, a lot of power, and he's on the rise. I think he should keep doing his best there. This subtle shift in Canelo's tone hints at a deeper competitive fire within him. While he admires Davis's talent, there's also a clear recognition of the potential threat Tank poses. Style-wise, a fight between the two would be a good clash. But just as Davis has had easy walks in the parks with his opponents, he would now be the walk in the park when it comes to Canelo. It's a fight that boxing purists would drool over, But for now, it remains a massive impossibility. Canelo has a stacked schedule ahead of him with potential rematches against Bivol and Artur Beterbiev looming large. Davis, on the other hand, seems poised for a unification bout against the winner of the upcoming Haney-Lomachenko fight. However, the boxing world moves fast, and with both fighters at the pinnacle of their careers, their paths could very well converge in the not-so-distant future. Let's see what awaits. What did you think about Tank's win? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more.